What's up, Positivity Paul? And I want to tell you the 5 things that I wish I would have known before I became an Amazon DSP delivery driver. I'm an Amazon delivery driver in Southern California. If you want to be a better delivery driver or just a better hustler, definitely subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't miss any amazing content. All right, the first thing I wish I would have known is I was originally told that I was gonna be walking about 5 to 8 miles a day. It's more like 10 to 12 miles a day, depending on what area you're working. But on average, I am walking about 11 miles a day, and you always have something in your hands. You're always carrying something. This is a very physically demanding job. I'd recommend that if physical demand, like demanding jobs aren't for you, then I wouldn't recommend applying. You're gonna be lifting things like bags of kitty litter, dog food, cases of water. It's gonna be kind of the norm. I've even lifted, I've taken like free weights. Like, you could tell they were weights because it was a small box, but it weighed like 50 pounds. And the only thing that could be in there that would be that small and condensed would be weight. So you're going to be carrying some things. And they do provide us a little caddy to carry stuff, but it's very inconvenient. It's not very practical. And it actually takes more time to set it up and to finagle it up the stairs or do whatever you have to do than just to carry it up. So definitely know you are going to be losing weight at this job. I've probably lost about 25 to 30 pounds since I started working here, and I'm actually gaining muscle. So they warn us, don't hit the gym, because this is such a physically demanding job that if you hit the gym, you're going to be too tired to do your route in the morning. All right, another thing to know is there's a high turnaround rate for this job. I'm actually going to be giving a lot of examples of why there would be a big turnaround, but you're going to see a lot of people come and go. I am probably working with 10, maybe 8 or so of the original people that I worked with when I first started just 4 months ago. You're going to see a high turnaround rate because Amazon sets the routes. So they might take someone who's just fresh and new and put them in the most difficult spot, tons of apartments, complex parking, all this other stuff. And Amazon doesn't really care. And so a lot of people will just fall out. Plus the physical demanding, which I talked about in one, that's going to be a big draw factor to it too. Plus, you get a lot of people that are going to kind of do what they want to do. They're not going to wear their seatbelts. They're not going to stop at stop signs. They're going to speed. They're going to be rude outside the customer's house, thinking they're getting away with a bunch of stuff. But we basically get scrutinized for everything, which is going to be another one of my points, which I'll talk about in a second. But they go out really quick. So you'll see people perform some of the same tendencies of people that don't stick around long, and you kind of know, like, oh, this person's not really going to last that long. So there are people there that have been there for years, but they're very few. All right, I guess I should talk about on the third thing I wish I would have known is Amazon puts you under a microscope as a driver. So not only do you have an artificial intelligence camera in all of your vans, it's going to basically be tattling on you for speeding, hard stopping, hard turns, not wearing your seatbelt, being distracted. And it actually audibly tells you, being on your phone. And so anything you do in the van, it's going to record it. So if you run a red light, it's going to send a video recording with all of the analytics, so how fast you're going and all this to the main dispatch office. And that stuff does get you fired. So the van is constantly working to tattle against you. If you're not wearing your seatbelt, across your chest, I mean, even if you just put your foot on the brake and just go a couple of feet, it's gonna ratchet you out. Distracted driving, putting your eyes down, it's gonna give you distracted driving, and too many of those end up causing drivers to be off-boarded pretty quickly. Another thing is as an Amazon delivery driver, we're rated on like a lot of different factors. So they can give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down as the customer goes when you deliver, but it goes into more detail when you thumbs down or thumbs up. So it's gonna say, like, if you thumbs up, it was extraordinary, went above and beyond, all this great stuff, which is all metrics that gets counted. But if you thumbs down, it's going to give you reasons why you thumbs down. So the customers and the van are constantly scrutinizing you for every little thing. Even something like picking up a damaged box, something that maybe has a hole in it already from the dispatch office, from the distribution center. Even if you say, hey, I don't want to take this, it's damaged, they will force you to take it. And if you forget to mark it as damaged and actually deliver it, the customer can say, oh, this is damaged. And even though you did everything you could, but you forgot that there was a hole in one side of the box and you deliver it, 2 of those and you could be off-boarded because they think that the driver is destroying the box. So there's a lot working against the Amazon drivers. Leads me to my next point, is technically you're not an Amazon driver. You work for a DSP. So it's an independently owned company, like a logistics company that's owned by one person, typically, and that one person can set their own rules as far as like pay, benefits, the kind of each DSP is a little different. So at my DSP, It's one lady that runs it, and I'm technically not an Amazon delivery driver. I'm that company's delivery driver. They just give me the Amazon uniform and the van and all that stuff, but Amazon doesn't actually supply its own, at least I don't think they supply their own delivery drivers, unless it's maybe like a semi truck or something. But I'm already rated up to the step van, which is one of the larger box trucks, and everyone that drives those is still a third party company. So, having said that, some things that you may hear about in these videos may not apply to your DSP because it's a different owner. So I've heard of some DSPs that have 401ks. I don't have a 401k, but I do have medical. I've heard of some DSPs making X amount of dollars, whereas I make Y amount of dollars. As in, why am I making this amount? So every DSP is going to be a little bit different. It would have been nice to say I was an Amazon official employee, but technically, I'm not going to be an official Amazon employee.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
All right, I want to talk about the rescues. So as far as rescues go, it used to be back in the day, and I even watched some videos on this, it would say, oh, if you finish at hour 6 or 7, you can go home and you're basically paid for your full day. That is not the case anymore. It's actually, unless you're a 10-hour person, which is someone who's DOT certified, which is like me. I got my DOT certification so I can drive the commercial vehicle, the step van. If I finish after 8 hours and they have nothing more for me to do, I go home and I get the 10 hours pay. However, we have rescues. And so what they'll do is they'll send you to someone else who's struggling and have you basically pick up their route and take some of it off so they can get them caught up. The reason why this is a problem is you have people that are new all the time, which is fine. They're working hard, they're struggling, but they'll be new and they're way behind. So if I finish 180 stops and they've only finished 100 and you go take half of theirs, so you're working essentially harder than they are. And since because of that high turnaround rate I talked about, you'll have people that are also just slacking after a while. And it takes a little while for them to get off-boarded and fired. So you're picking up their slack, so you're working harder. And then you get a new group of people that come in and you're helping them. And then out of them, there's some more slackers. And so it's kind of unfair as far as the rescues go, because you essentially are being punished in a way for doing your route efficiently. But if you don't do everything efficiently and you get behind, then you're under the microscope because Amazon is tracking your time about what time you should be at every stop. So you have to kind of keep a good pace, what you feel is a good pace, and you don't want to fall behind that. But I really don't like the rescues, just because I think that if someone can't finish their route, then they should be just brought back in after a certain, maybe like probation period or something, but that's not really up to me. I'm definitely going to be talking some more about Amazon stuff. I'm just on my lunch break right now, so I'm going to get back to that. But please definitely subscribe, hit that notification bell, lots of delivery content, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay positive, people.